Ticket Machine is the official ticket broker of Spartan Nation. No matter what you need a ticket for, border to border, coast to coast, the Ticket Machine is your ticket source. So whether you need to get into the hottest concerts, the best sporting events, you want the best seats in the house, or you just want to get in the door, when you want to go to any event that requires a ticket, anywhere, border to border, coast to coast, it's always theticketmachine.com. Theticketmachine.com, 517-655-3201. Check it out today at theticketmachine.com.
Well, first, after big weekend, but it is national championship football time and my favorite sport, and so I'm anxious to catch a little bit of that game tonight, and really excited when I heard the news today that one of my favorite guys and one of our greats, Lorenzo White, going into the College Football Hall of Fame. That's not only well-deserving to a great guy, but I think great for Michigan State and our football program. So hats off to Zoe. I hope it's during a time when I can sneak down there and get to it. As far as our weekend, I thought it was a big win for us on the road. I think we learned something about our team, that we could go on the road down a pretty good player and still find a way to win. Our whole motto this year is to try to finish. And I know with 5-6 minutes left to go in that game, it was close. I said, now it's time to start working on finishing. I thought the finishing was pretty good, and a lot of that goes to Cassius. I thought he did a great job down the stretch, but it was a big weekend. It's a big road win, because any road win is a good road win against a ranked team. I guess you'd consider it a great road win. There's unfortunately so many more challenges. You got to enjoy that until I got on the plane, and then it was start to prepare for Purdue with the schedule the way it is and the couple-day prep now. They've been sitting there since last Wednesday or Thursday. That's the way the Big Ten's going to work. So we didn't have much time, but we're going to get as much done as we can get done in these 2 days. And then as you look ahead a little bit, which we hate to do, but with 4 to 5 of our next games on the road, I'd say the month of January is a critical month in general, and it's got to be taken one day at a time, and tomorrow we start that next day. Purdue is going to be tough, and I'll speak about them in a minute. As far as Josh goes, he's continuing to get treatment and rest, and we're going to see where that takes us in the next week or so. Like I said, there was some encouraging news that doesn't look like there's any long-range problems, but all depends on the treatment and how he responds. As far as Purdue goes, they played a good schedule. Now they're 9-5, I think. Is that what they are? But with losses to Virginia Tech, 1-point loss to Texas, 1-point loss at Florida State, the loss to Notre Dame. I mean, they've had all road losses, 2 tough places and 2 neutrals. 3 tough, because Virginia Tech was on the road too. So they've played some of the toughest games on the road. Lost a lot of close ones, very well coached team, and maybe has the best player in college basketball. Carson Edwards has taken his game from good to great. Last year, he's taken it from great to elite this year. Average 25.5 this day and age in a major college is not the norm. He leads the Big Ten in three-point shooting. He's a bigger tum-tum with a lot different jump shot. He's quick, he's strong, he can get a shot off. He looks like a linebacker or a free safety, and he plays like one, and except with a lot of grace and skill. And I've been really impressed by what this kid has done. And then like last year when they had another shooting threat, Klein now has taken over that, and he is a very good three-point shooter, averaging 13 a game, which doesn't seem like large numbers, but he was 7 for 11 from the 3 in one of their big games. So he's a kid that If you give him an inch, he takes it. He's a quick shooter. They run, might be the hardest cutting team that I've seen in not years. They come off those screens ready to shoot it better than most teams that we've had in 5 years. So I'm expecting this to be a huge challenge, and looking forward to see how we respond after a little success on the road.
You come in October, if I had handed you 13-2 for the first 15, were you taking it?
What a tough question. I mean, no, you always want to be 15-0. Yeah, I'd have taken it. I really would have. I thought, you know, and like every year, you know, sometimes schedules get crazy, teams get crazy. You know, UCLA loses a couple. No, Texas is starting to play like the Texas that we expected at the beginning of the year. But like Notre Dame last year, big win, then all of a sudden they lose some players. College basketball is so crazy. It's the power rankings and all that, to me, are insane because you don't know who's hurt, who's not, who's where at the beginning of the year. But we thought we had a challenging schedule at the beginning of the year. We think we've played pretty good basketball, pretty solid basketball. And more than the record, I think the way we're playing is exciting to me because we're doing it on both ends of the court. You know, the first half of the Ohio State game, we weren't as good defensively, but we've been pretty consistent with our defense. We've been pretty consistent with our scoring, getting our turnovers down a little bit. We still got a lot of room for improvement. That's the good news, but I guess I would take that 13-2 record.
Is Carson Edwards Matt McQuaid's assignment? Is this for him? Would that make it? I mean, he's been touted as your best perimeter defender for a long time. It's sort of a real chance to see what he can do.
Well, Matt is one of our best. I think that Josh was our best because of the athletic ability and everything. But yeah, this creates a problem for us without Josh there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And Matt is just working his way back from that time off. He still gets tired a little bit as you watch him, you know, having to run those lanes and do this. He's going to have to run. I mean, Carson Edwards can score from the locker room, so we'll probably have him start checking him during, you know, dress time, and then we'll probably finish after he showers. And I say that with half a joke and half serious. I mean, I haven't seen a kid that does what he's done, and we're not going to stop him. I think 2 teams have held him under 20. As they say, we got to contain him and make him earn every shot, make him work for every, and hopefully not shoot as high a percentage. But Matt will definitely start on him, and then we're going to have some variety of guys, and some of those freshmen are going to have to get their feet wet in the Big Ten pretty quick.
Tom, now that you have kind of a more normal succession of games, how does this group deal with, handle, absorb shorter preps, shorter installations, shorter game preps, things like that?
Yeah, that's been interesting, and you know, I haven't totally seen it yet because over Christmas, you know, you can do a lot of things. Like even after the game Saturday, we had Sunday morning church service here, and then we had a practice at night too. You know, we did both. We kind of went 2-a-days more mental, but that ends now because it's hard to get guys up at 6:30, especially when they're going. So I'm a little concerned about that, especially now that we're going to have to, with Josh out, because those freshmen don't pick up things as well, nor should they, as the other guys. And Josh was getting to be such a good leader that he was good at knowing what their teams did and would really help take over a practice. I'm throwing a little bit of that on Cassius, a little bit on Matt McQuaid right now, but Josh was really enjoying that role. And so I don't know how we're going to do the next couple. We definitely got some time to figure that out in these next 5 games, with 4 of them on the road. You don't get as much prep time. But this is where my staff and I think, got to do a better job, the mental part of the game, and instead of you know, getting actual practice time in, the walkthroughs, the film sessions, the walkthroughs are going to have to be more critical, kind of like tournament time, and like Kyle Arns hurt that ankle a little bit, didn't practice a lot last night. We didn't have a very tough practice last night because I'm trying to use my head over my heart, and I'm still juggling with that myself. But I think we'll do a good job. We have enough veterans, but some of those freshmen now are going to play more, and they're going to have to pick up things quicker.
I'm playing with that a little bit. I know we talked Saturday a bit, but with Josh out, maybe Kyle maybe limited a little bit. We saw the critical moments Aaron Henry had late in that game. And he talked about feeling like, what do you feel like a guy you can trust now in big moments like that? Just, I guess, kind of explain how far he's come and how important he can be, as long as Josh is out.
Yeah, he's gonna be important by under fire. He's gonna have to be important, and he's an athlete enough, he's strong enough, he's smart enough, and so what doesn't he have? He's missing a few of the things that Josh had, but he's missing experience, and that's pretty normal and natural for any freshman. It's just that, he'll probably be asked to play a little bit on Edwards, and so, like I said, he's going to be thrown right into the fire now. But as I try to explain to my team, there is still a difference between conference play and regular season. And those freshmen, I told them, hang on to your hat. That little dose of it we got in December is nothing. It's now the constant grind, the day-to-day. You get a team like Purdue who's going to be well coached. They're going to be tough. They're going to play hard. They're going to execute well. You're going to have to be on top of your game, and I think that's what we're trying to talk to both him and Gabe about a little bit more, as far as those wing guys and trying to take up some of that slack. But I feel good about him. I mean, he's going to be a hell of a player, and time he's gotten the opportunity. It's like every other player. You always want to play more, and then got to watch what you wish for, because Shazam, it's there, when he gets to play.
It seems like Cassius has been running off ball a little bit more in some half-court sets. So what have been the benefit of that, and how much do you see that being part of the offense?
I'm just trying to move him around a little bit for a couple of reasons. One, because he's really good at it, and two, to kind of bring him at people from a different angle, different side. Three would be to try to get him off the point once in a while, and it doesn't totally rest him, but it rests him a little bit, especially if people are coming at you. But he can make plays off ball screens. He can get shots a little easier that way. So I will move him around a little bit now, and I think that's going to help us. The one thing we haven't been able to do a lot is play the two small guys together, because, again, we played another team in Ohio State that were 6'5", 6'6". We played some big teams. Now maybe they'll get a little smaller, hopefully.
Yeah, two things. First is kind of a blend of the last two questions. I noticed you used Aaron to bring the ball up a little bit, I guess. What was that reasoning behind that, and what have you seen from him with the ball in his hands to allow that?
Stupidity on my part was one of the reasons. No, we wanted to run a couple of sets, and I thought I had McQuaid in there and I had Aaron in there. But Aaron, so there. How's that for a transparent answer? But in saying that, Aaron is a very good decision maker. He really does do some good things. He's got to get better with the ball. But as far as decision making, that's what's going to really separate this kid from some of our other wings in the past. Is he makes decisions. He can make good passes. Now, we entered a couple of sets. He was way out by half court, but that's something we hadn't worked on. So I'll take the blame for that, in all honesty. But I could see that happening down the road more. We just got to make sure we work on it a little bit more.
And kind of the second, actually, you went right into the second part. The second part, Kenny's game was, I don't know how many times you've seen guys make some big mistakes, but make even bigger plays in the moment when they were needed, I guess, what you saw.
That is a very well put way of saying it. Me, I would take the bigger mistakes because I'm such an optimistic guy. But I think you're right. He made he made a couple mistakes that aren't Kenny-like either, but he made some big plays. And what he's getting to be like is him and Xavier are kind of our cleanup guys behind the scenes, and like a Draymond used to do. That's why I think Xavier's so good. But Kenny is in the right place at the right time, come up with a couple of big steals, and still what he's done is he's come up with a couple big rebounds. And it's funny you bring his name up because we had him in this morning, and I spent some time with him on, what road do you want to go down now? Because there's not many guys. I think there's one guy this year that's gotten 17 rebounds in major college basketball. For a guy to be able to do that, a guy to be able to defend a lot of people, if you look at his shot, it's picture perfect. He gets as good a rotation as anybody except Cassius. And, constantly prodding him to keep putting more into the game. And I think he's getting it, and we all get frustrated, or I get frustrated. Why doesn't it happen earlier? But Kenny Goins has become a very valuable part of this team, and he does a lot more, and I'm glad you recognize that, than you see. And sometimes you see in the stats. He does a lot defensively. He's in the right place. He's become a pretty good post passer as we've looked to get the ball into Nick from different angles. He's got the ability to do that. And as he keeps working, if he just keep working on that shot, he's a very good shooter. And I think that could take his game to another level, which would really expand our team.
Tom, quick housekeeping question. So do you expect Josh to not play the next 2 games?
I don't expect him to play this game for sure. Okay. The next one's Sunday, so it's quite a ways away.
And then, going into the season, you talked about this not being the...
Can I ask you a dumb question since you're... Because I got...
He asked you a lot of dumb questions?
Oh, yes.
Is that fitting that you're asking me that?
Yes, but since I've been transparent on Josh, how would you want me to answer that question?
Well, you said you...
Well, I mean, would you want me to... By the way, Purdue, Josh won't be playing, or you want me to keep it quiet? How would you want me to do that?
You said for the next week or so, you're going to do this new treatment.
Well, I'm doing treatment, but no, I'm half kidding you. I just wondered how you guys, if this was your team, how would you guys answer those questions? Because I see a lot of national guys, they want to know all this stuff. And I put it this way, I'm not hiding anything, but the day Josh comes back, I'm probably not going to announce it either. I got a team to coach here. But it was a good question, Larry. I'm just giving you crap because usually you ask me stupid questions, as you so politely said. So I asked you one. Go ahead.
So I would answer it honestly to keep the inside information, gamblers out of it, right? So if you're just transparent.
See, in this new world though, where the gamblers think they know more than the coaches, I'm trying to keep them at bay.
So, as expected, this team was much different than last year when you had a couple of obvious lottery picks. Can you appreciate how this team, even without Josh for a couple of games now, has proven it's pretty good to this point?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. I'm a little testy on comparing them because just of all the things that we went through. I don't think last year's team met expectations, but I also don't think last year's team had the same opportunity just because of the situations that surrounded everybody. And so when people say that this year's team is better, and I said this at one press conference, but I'll say it now, it's not better yet. What it is we've had, number one, we've had some injuries that have healed, and especially and had time to enjoy a summer of that. And that was Kenny, who was a better player, better physically. That was definitely McQuaid and definitely Arns. But we're not quite as talented. We make a mistake. We don't have a shot blocker back there. We don't have a guy. I just watched the last year's Purdue game, and it wasn't the last shot that Miles played so good. He did an unbelievable job on the ball screens and trailing and that. I think it'll sadden me till the day I die that last year's team didn't get to totally show what they were. Now, taking that away or taking that out of it, so I will never compare them because I don't think it's apples to apples, and it's not because of players, it's because of situations. But I have been impressed and pleased the way this team, the maturity of those three guys, the weight loss of Xavier and the weight loss of Nick. I think I've just made him be able to play better. I think it's helped. Cassius has taken his game to another level and has been better defensively. So I think some of it is maturity and experience. But last year we had a pretty tough schedule. We're going to see now as we get into the Big Ten. I mean, going on the road, that was a good road win. But it was one. We have to stay away from injuries. Remember, was it last year that Miles, wasn't he injured at the beginning, or was that his freshman? Yeah, he missed some time. Was that his freshman year? Freshman. So I don't know what other injuries we had, but injuries always play a part in a season. And so we'll see how that goes. But I am impressed that we've been able to do it on both ends. We've been pretty consistent on offense. Haven't shot the ball from three as well lately. We've been pretty consistent on defense. We've been pretty consistent rebounding the ball. On the negative, we've been fairly consistent with our turnovers. A little better because we've had some 6 and 7 games, but we still turn it over a little bit too much. But if you look at the stats, the consistency this team has shown on both sides of the ball, to use a football phrase, has been pretty solid and pretty good. And it's a fun team to watch play, and it's a fun team to coach because the ball is moving. But I think it's moving because last year the ball going to Nick and it was the black hole. You get double teamed and the world almost ended. This year he made some phenomenal passes out of those double teams the other day, and he's passing the ball better and he's giving it up and getting it back better. So I think he has improved in that. Cassius pushing the ball in the break. We're so much better on that break, and a lot of that is him. So we've had some improvements. I hope at the end of the year we're talking about this team being as good as that team, and sometimes as good doesn't mean what happens in the final number of wins or losses. It means how that team is playing at the end. Last year, we were going down a little bit at the end. This year, I'm hoping that we're going to peak at the end.
Speaking of the new world, I think you have high regard for Pat Chambers. I know you think the world is getting soft. So what's your feeling on
butter? I thought you guys liked me a little bit, so you keep asking me questions are suicidal for me. I'm going to get killed with the answer. That was a joke. It was a joke. I mean, I hate to say it. If my high school coach pushes my son on something that we don't even know what was said, we don't even know what happened. But if we're that fragile, I mean, if he punched him, God bless, put him in prison. But I mean, I have a problem with it, So that's why. I mean, you see the timeouts. I get down I'm on both knees now. I genuflect. I say a little prayer, and I ask them if it's okay if I can tell them what they did wrong. I'm cool with that. I'm adjusting to the times. But do I think a guy should be suspended for that? I'll put it this way. I talked to some people in high up positions, ADs and that lately, that didn't agree with that. God bless if it was Penn State and that's what they had to do. God bless the Big Ten if that's what they had to do. You asked me a personal question. We're supposed to discipline human beings. I had a great, shouldn't say this in front of you, this is when you need a round table, but because we got players coming in today, I was going to have one today, but I'll state it, so crucify me like you may. But I had an assistant coach we're talking about problems of the modern day kid, and his 80-some-year-old mother said, we had the same problems when you were a kid. They're not changed. We had the same problems. It's just that we had a solution. And I said, what was that? The belt. The belt, And none of you were part of that because you're too young. I was part of that, you know. And I'm not sure I'd be who I am today. You were part of that. Even a Dookie was part of that. God bless your dad. Well, huh?
Tough Nebraskans.
Tough Nebraskans. That's right. You guys got real leather down there too, because you lasso them cows and that. But anyway, you know, I just. I think the world is too soft. It's too fragile. There's too many people that analyze every single thing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I didn't see it all because it made me sick. But I saw that part. I never heard the kid complain about anything. I never heard any parent complain about anything. I know one thing. If somebody pushes my kid on something like that, or trying to get his attention and because he's doing something wrong, I'm going to say thank you. That's what I'm going to say. Now let's get back to a good question.
Tom, when you talked to Kenny, did he explain what he saw when he stepped on the line on the inbounds?
Yeah, he did.
His response
He
was
did.
stealing the next one result from feeling heat for that one?
He did. You know, I didn't even give him a lot of heat because, like I said, there's a new improved Tom Izzo now. I said, Kenny, next time would you please not step on the line? And I thought that, so, you know, when his lawyer called, we got that all ironed out, you know. It was really good. But, you know what he honestly told me? And I can believe this. You know, there's some places, you go to Rutgers, and you sit like this. You got to sit pigeon-toed on the bench, or your feet are on the. He said the cheerleaders were up there. I said, well, step on one of them, you know. But he too is probably afraid because she's got a lawyer that might do something on that. So, and I got relatives that are lawyers, so no insult to you guys. I'm just telling you that he said that there were people there, and since we won, I didn't challenge him on it. If we would have lost, I probably would have.
Did you get anything from the refs on the one, the saves that the Ohio State players were on the line?
No, because you know what? I was nice to those guys too. I'm telling you guys, there's a new improved me now. I just said I heard that there were people on the line numerous times, and I said, but I don't want to complain about it.
A little off topic here, but the Spurs are playing in Detroit tonight. I want to ask you about Brent Forbes, the player he's become in the NBA. Could you have imagined he'd become this sort of, obviously you've had lottery guys and all that.
Yeah, you know, I talked to Brent just a couple days ago, and I mean, I try to, the advantage of him and Draymond and Gary and guys that are on the kind of the time changes, I get to see some of their later night games, and I try to watch as best I can. And you know, I'm proud of a lot of those guys, but him, I am so proud of. No, I couldn't imagine it. You know, could you imagine Draymond would have been? No, I couldn't. So I've gotten lucky on some guys. You know, maybe when they get out of here, they get better or something. You know, but he has really done a great job. They're playing him at the point some. He's guarding people, but if you look at him, you know, I was just looking at some video up there of, you know, you go back and the first. If you want to cover something, you want to run some plays, I go back and look at guys that ran it before. And I was looking at Brent's junior year and something that we ran then that I wanted to see. And, you know, he looked like this emaciated little guy, you know. And then I look at his senior year and he's bigger. And then I look at him now and he's got a great body on him. He's really built up. He's did what the world's supposed to do. He's progressed every year. There's a process to getting better. He didn't skip anything. He just kind of did his job. But I can honestly say that of all the players I've had, and I've had some that have worked their tail off, nobody spent more time in the gym than Brent Forbes. You know, Zell was right there. Gary, I mean, you know, there's been guys, you know, since Cueto and Josh are, but that kid, and when he was home, I mean, back in San Antonio, when he'd come back up, we'd get a call that he's coming in, and he'd go from the airport to the gym. I mean, he's sick. You know, I talked to their assistants down there. I talked to some people I know in the organization, their shooting coach. I mean, he is truly a kid that has earned everything he's gotten and deserves, you know, hopefully another great year and then maybe a big contract, and he has earned it all. He's worked at it. Nothing was given, and he's remained a great guy. So, right, he's remained a great guy, and that's the greatest tribute I can give to him. So, I wish I could get down there tonight, but I got, my job too, and but I would love to see him. I'd love to spend a little time with him. I'm really proud of what he's done.
Tom, just real quick, we talked a lot about how tough this team is, and you were comparing it to the glory days and saying, well, maybe it's not there. Was a win like Saturday and then a game like tomorrow kind of an opportunity to sort of impress?
Yeah, what it does is it just gives me more reason to think we can be. But like I said, 30 wins last year wasn't good enough. So what am I comparing it to? What I'm comparing it to, that I've changed a little bit on too, is, are we getting better every day? Right now, we're getting better. We're better after Christmas than we were before, which happens a lot. But we're getting better in some areas. So now we're trying to really work on the areas we're not better at. So we had a little lapse in our defense the first half, and we talked about it at halftime. And what I liked a lot is they were challenged at halftime in this game. And they responded both offensively and defensively. And I think that's maybe the greatest thing that's happening right now, is probably because they're more experienced, they're responding at a different level. And they're seeing it, they're understanding it. And, now when you talk, you're not talking a foreign language to them. And I think that's just part of experience. But I'm not ready to canonize anybody on anything, because we haven't earned that. We've earned the right to be where we're at. We've earned the right to say we're getting better. We've earned the right to say that we got a fun team to watch, and we don't neglect an area right now, free throw shooting. Nick Ward, if you ask him, and congrats to him for being player of the week, but Nick Ward spent 3 days, I think, early in the morning, late at night, in between, shooting free throws. And so I asked him after, when he made a lot of free throws and they were critical, you know why you did that? No idea, no idea. And so I said, because you worked on it, what you work on is what you get. And I don't think players sometimes want to understand that, but I do think they are starting to, and that's where, Cassius and Josh has been really good too, not playing, because he sees things differently, and gets frustrated on the bench when guys don't do something right, and I told him not to sit too close to me, he'll turn into me. And I don't think he's worried about that, but I think he's at least seeing the light that things do happen differently when you're watching than when you're playing.
Looking at the numbers, at least, from basically around the Florida game to now, your tempo slowing a little bit, and I wonder if that is just a product of entering league play, or if something you guys are consciously trying to go a little bit slower.
No, we're not consciously. We're trying to go a little bit faster. That's one thing I was disappointed about in the first half, but we're also trying to recognize that, when we went through that stretch, and you're right, in Florida it started as far as the scoring, but I think we were dead tired. That was the 6th game or 5th game, and the days we were without McQuaid. Josh is a big part of our running, and right now we're without him, so our substitution pattern's been a little different. We still want to play Foster. We still are going to get him more minutes. We were playing McQuaid a little bit at the point. Now we can't afford to do that much because of the minutes he's having to play on the wing. So we're not consciously trying to do it. Some of it will be Big Ten play. Some of it is other people are scouting too, and they look at what are your strengths. Running is one of our strengths. How can we take that away? We had one team that played like the old Wisconsin team against us. They put 5 players back, and Dick Bennett used to get back there and check us too, and they did that. They sent all 5 back right when the ball went up, didn't put anybody on the free throw line because they wanted to make sure they're back. So teams are going to scout us, and what I really care about more than the points we score or the number of breaks we get, are we efficient in what we're doing? And we've been pretty efficient, and it's been fun. I hate to use that word because that makes it sound like you're satisfied. It's been fun because I've watched some players really grow, and I watched a whole team really get along. And I've been blessed in the last 5 years with a lot of that. I mean, we have had some close-knit groups. What we're doing, I think, better, and we worked on it this summer, in fairness to last year's team, is moving that ball better. We are moving it better. It's not because we had somebody stopping it. I think we made a concerted effort to talk about, let's not hold on to the ball, let's not line guys up, let's get the ball moving. And Nick's been a big difference. I mean, let's face it. He's been fun to coach. I mean, he's doing what you ask him to do. He's not getting frustrated, so I don't get frustrated with him. It's a great marriage.
Anything else, guys? Any ladies?
All right, guys. Thanks.
Hey, Meg.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.